some reasons I
Anybody got
don't
one?
seem to have one on me.
Album.
It's better. We're going to do it the other way.
Yeah, you play the album. I think the album's interesting in a way because it's complete. It really we haven't. What's actually happened with it is that as it's gone over a month, over 2 months, over 3 months, we've then realised, well, okay, it's 6 months late. It should have been out last year, the year before, maybe the year before that even. So at least let's get it right. One more week is not going to make that much difference. And so it's an album to a great extent which is about as right as we're ever going to get it. And so to me it's a great buzz because the album's it's an example of what we can do when we really work at it, that's all. And when we're really not too bogged down in other areas and when we're not compromised. It's an album that I can actually stand for, not just as an individual and as a writer, but as a member of the band, and which I feel that Roger and Keith can stand for, and John can stand for. I mean, everybody in the band can really get hot over the album. It's a great album from Roger's point of view. I think that when you hear it, the one thing that stands out is the fact that there's some amazing vocal performances, and there are songs which I've written. Like there's one song called "Music Must Change," which I was pleased with the lyric, but I mean what Roger has actually done with the delivery is like taking it onto another strata, another plane.
We were going to scrap it.
We were going to scrap it.
At one point, we were going to scrap.
Until Roger put a vocal on the song, the backing track was pretty poor, and we were going to scrap. And Roger was really behind the song. There are other songs like John's "Trick of the Light," which I mentioned earlier, which is, you talk about heavy metal. You've never heard anything like it in your life. I mean, it's heavy metal to the extreme. It's like being nailed to the wall. And it's his bass guitar, bass guitar, and again a great vocal from Roger. There's songs like "Guitar and Pen," which are songs about the music business, and to some extent some of them levelled at the new wave. We're not levelling things at the new wave because we want to crush them or stamp on them or anything. We're answering a lot of the things that they've said about us, and we're saying, well, all right, do it, but doing it is doing it, not talking about doing it. Doing it is doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And come do it, because it's great when you do it.
Come on in, the water's lovely.
The water's lovely, yeah. And as a song, the opening track of the album is called "New Song," and that's about rock and roll songs being pretty much really all the same. That if a rock song is a rock song, it's
A rock song.
It's a rock song. It's the same song again and again and again and again, each one in a different disguise, coming from a different place, but it's the same sentiments you're talking about. It's a good album for us in a way because we've actually managed to pull it off. It's weird to wake up in the morning and realise that you're still in The Who. You know, after 15 years, that you still, and not only are you still in The Who, but you're closer to the guys in the band, closer to the music, and hopefully, closer to the street than you ever were when you first started.
Okay, now...
End of sermon.
No. Let me ask you something, Pete, because, okay, now each person, as an individual member, has his individual life that he leads, as would be true in any group, but specifically you've been together a long time, through a lot of things. Everybody's had their own exercises. Now, personal life, I can recall, let's take the band, for example, the American group. When they did tour, they used to get together, just say 2 or 3 weeks before the tour, and work, and then go on the tour, and then leave and never talk to each other at all until they got together again to rehearse to do another tour.
We never even used to do 2 weeks before.
They... So,
2 hours.
2 hours before.
2 hours, that was it.
Well, okay.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
So now you have your personal life, and then you have what must be inside of all of you, something born, something that just flows in your blood, where you are part of something big and something great. Now, when you put both on a scale, is that where the problem is now with everybody? Because now, as you've moved along through these years, you've matured, you have other things besides The Who, your family or your personal life. But somewhere doesn't that have to equate? What do you do when you're not on tour and not doing an album?
I suppose for me, the scale that you're talking about does exist, and it does tend to balance now more than it ever did. It was always weighed down very heavily